Can you tell us a little bit about what it is about the world of Louis XIV that made you want to realise it on the screen in this sumptuous way?
Really and truly, what I wanted to do was make the story of Sabine and Lenôtre, i.e. Kate and Matthias. It just so happens that it's set against that incredibly difficult to finance and incredibly difficult to realise world. But it's a wonderful context to put a very modern story into a not modern backdrop.
I mean, it is emotionally quite a contemporary story, and Sabine's character feels like a very modern woman. Can you talk about what was interesting to you about that element of the story?
The fact that she couldn't possibly have existed then, it's a complete fabrication. There would never have been a woman with a job at that time, and that's what's interesting about the movies. First of all, a character like that can be created, and secondly, we can slice 35 years off of Lenôtre's age, because he would have been 70 at the time of this story. So, hooray for the movies.
Collaborating again with the luminous Kate Winslet, what makes her such a special talent, and why was she essential for this role?
I'd like you to come up with another name, frankly. You read this part, independent woman, doesn't mind getting her hands dirty, wants to make you believe in her story. Kate. You learn a lot from one to the other. In the rehearsal room in the theatre, you learn to trust your actors, to involve them, to make sure that, as I was just saying, it's a marketplace of ideas. And on film, you have the great, great luxury of being surrounded by experts. In the theatre, it's often you and the cast, but lighting designer, but you're absolutely surrounded by this huge cushion on a film set.
The results are wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to us.
It's a love story set against the backdrop of building the gardens at Versailles. Well, I think everybody's got an idea of the fabulous gardens at Versailles and about Louis XIV, the Sun King. But I think what we've done is we've told a really original love story. It's surprising to see a woman in the role that Kate Winslet's in. She's really bold, she's really challenging. It feels like a real contemporary relationship against that period setting. So hopefully people just really enjoy the film and also get something fresh and new from it.
I think it's partly because she's such a brave actress. She's just and this is a role for a brave actress. We did all sorts of crazy things to her. She had to be thrown into freezing cold water in the middle of the night. She's that sort of actress. She's very bold. It's a very international cast, and with Kate as our stalwart in the middle, Matthias was the next person on board. And then obviously with lovely Helen and with Stanley Tucci, and it started to be the cast. They felt very authentic. They felt very much as a tight-knit cast.
Alan had planned the film for many years before we started making it, so he knew how he wanted every scene to look, and he knew very clearly how the whole film should play from beginning to end. So he was very much in charge, as well as being the king himself. He was completely in charge on set. So he knew exactly how all the roles should come together, how the design should work, how the whole film should look.
Actors adore working with him because he understands them. He understands what they need from a director. But the crew really respected him as well. He had a very clear vision of the film that he was making. And so everybody, he was able to bring everybody together behind that vision to make the job.
Well, the way that Alan's vision for the film was very much about this court being a claustrophobic court. The people, they had to follow the king everywhere the king went, and I think, as Gail's saying, that's why the cast worked so well, because they were people who were used to completely living in each other's pockets, and they were completely trapped inside that world. But what that meant was that's all we were showing. You weren't trying to show the whole of France at the time. And I suppose one of the advantages for us is Versailles was being built at the time, so we never had to show the whole of Versailles as it actually was. We were showing the gardens as a work in progress, we were showing Versailles as a work in progress. And really what we wanted to recreate was that claustrophobic atmosphere of all those people knowing everything about each other's lives, and we had a fabulous cast to do that. So it's a film that it looks lush and gorgeous, but really it's the performances that are at the heart of it.
Can you tell us a little bit about your character, Madame Le Notre, and what it was like being reunited with the magnificent Alan Rickman?
The magnificent Alan Rickman was fantastic to be reunited with. We met on a Harry Potter set with Helena Bonham Carter and giggled our way through days of filming. And so I think when a friend asks you to be in a film, it's a wonderful compliment. To play Le Notre was great. Alan had a team around us, from costumiers to people Jane Gibson, who led us through the movement. We understood the dances, we understood the entire period, and therefore it was a whole world of little chaos we went into. I look forward to seeing it tonight.